This is No More Shrinking with Dr. Abiola Salami.
This is episode 6. Power is not a dirty word. Let's name it. Many women feel weird about the word power. It can feel heavy, aggressive, even manipulative. But what if I told you that the problem is not power? It is the stories we've attached to power that is the problem. Power is not about domination. It is about direction. It is about influence. It is about integrity in motion. So today, we are going to clean up that word, reclaim it, and step into it without guilt, apology, or fear. Let us begin.
This is No More Shrinking with Dr. Abiola Salami, a broadcast designed for women who are done playing small. All over the world, African women are rising. They are breaking ceilings, building legacies, driving change, and building with brilliance in boardrooms, classrooms, courtrooms, and communities. At the Peak Performing Woman of the Year Award, we celebrate the courage, competence, and character of African women who are delivering excellence with purpose, power, and undeniable impact. Who is that woman that inspires you to do better? Who is moving the needle in business, governance, education, tech, media, or social impact? Who is showing up, standing tall, and setting new standards? This is your chance to honor her. Nominate an exceptional woman for the Peak Performing Woman of the Year Award at www.tppafrica.com/awards. Let's honor her voice. Let's celebrate her victory. Let's amplify her vision for Africa. Because when one woman wins, all women rise. The Peak Performer Awards is where champions are honored and legacies are celebrated. Be part of it. Nominate her today.
Let us start from why women fear power. Why does power feel so loaded for so many women? It's because most women were introduced to power through examples of abuse or exclusion. Women saw power used to silence, to punish, and to control. And the average woman would think, if that is power, I don't want it. Or if power changes people like this, I'd rather stay soft. Or if power makes people hate you, maybe I'm better off invisible. But let me say this, power doesn't corrupt. Power only reveals. And when it is held with integrity, power heals, power uplifts, and power multiplies. Real power does not exploit. Real power does not manipulate. Real power does not silence. It doesn't punish. It doesn't control. Real power expands. So let us redefine what power is. And it is important for us to reframe power as influence and alignment. Power is the ability to cause intentional change in alignment with values. It is not about controlling other people. It is about creating environments where your vision becomes real. Power can look like this. 1. A businesswoman building an ethical, inclusive team. 2. A mother raising socially conscious children. 3. A politician reforming unjust systems. 4. A mid-level manager mentoring the next generation. Because power is not domination, it is design. When you shrink from power, you leave design to people who may not share your values, and that is dangerous. There's the story of an executive who mistook humility for hiding. Her name, let us call her Kemi, who I had the privilege of coaching some time ago. Kemi was a senior director in a multinational company here in Lagos. She's known for her grace, her intelligence, and diplomacy. But every time a bigger leadership opportunity opened up, Kemi would defer. She would say something like, I'm not sure I'm the right fit. Let someone else go first. When we dug deep in our coaching session, Kemi admitted that she was raised to be humble and she thought taking power made her selfish. When we reframed it together, I asked her the question, what if humility is not stepping back, but lifting others as you rise? Kemi went ahead for the next role. She got it, and she became the first woman on the global executive board in her organization's 50-year history. That was not ego, that was alignment. You see, as a peak performing woman, it is important for you to know that there is a cost of false humility. And let us talk about this one. False humility is when you pretend to be less capable, less visionary, or less ready than you are just to make others comfortable. It sounds like this. I just stumbled on this. or it's really not a big deal, or I'm still figuring it out like everyone else. Let us be clear. You shouldn't stumble. You studied, you showed up, you built, and you bled for your results. False humility robs other people of an example. It tells the women coming behind you that power is off limits, or worse, that power is dirty. But with true humility, you would say that I know what I carry and I carry it in service. You would say that I don't need to shrink to be relatable. You will understand that you rise so others can rise too. And it is important to know that you are already powerful. Let us do your power mapping together to see where you are already powerful. Let's take an inventory. You don't become powerful, you are already powerful. You just need to name it. So take a journal and create 3 columns with me. Column 1, let us call it personal power. Column 2, let us call it relational power. And column 3, let us call it positional power. Your personal power is your voice, your choices, and your values. Your relational power is about who listens to you and who you influence. And your positional power is about the roles and the platforms and the access you have. Now, let me ask you, where do you have authority in these 3 columns? Who listens when you speak? Where do you make decisions? Who do you have the ability to uplift or mentor? Because power is not only at the top, it is in every room where your presence shifts the energy. And you don't need to be the person that has the highest status to shift the energy in the room. You don't need to be the oldest to shift the energy in the room. You don't need to have the most money to shift the energy in the room. You just need to understand your power and use your power as leverage to help others to rise. That was the story of Fumi. She was a local council woman in Lagos. She didn't have a massive budget. She wasn't in national politics, but she showed up at every town hall meeting. She led sanitation drives herself in the environment. She created WhatsApp groups for civic engagement and held public officials accountable. When people asked, "Madam, why work so hard for such a small office?" she said, "Because this is my jurisdiction and I want it to reflect justice." Fumi redefined power as proximity, which means being close enough to feel what her people needed. Because power, my dear peak performing woman, is not in the title, it is in the intentional use of influence. And it is important for us to find out, what power have you been avoiding? What power have you really been avoiding? Is it relational power? Is it personal power? Or is it positional power? So ask yourself today, where have I resisted leadership because of fear? What platform have I declined because I didn't want attention? What responsibility have I passed on because I feared being seen as bossy? What dream have I delayed because I feared being powerful? Write down. And next to each of them, write, I am not afraid of my power, I am learning to honor it. And let's relook these questions again. Where have I resisted leadership because of fear? Write down your response. What platform have I declined because I didn't want attention? Write out your response. What responsibility have I passed on because I feared being seen as bossy? What dream have I delayed because I feared being powerful? Remember to write down your responses, and to each of them, write, I am not afraid of my power, I am learning to honor it. Because that is the shift that we require. Not perfection, not permission, but for you to shift, for you to soar and not shrink again. And one of the other issues about power and women is we look at power and control. Control is fear in disguise, but power is trust in action. Control micromanages, control manipulates, control withholds. But power delegates, power inspires, power activates. You were not born to control, you were born to lead. And the difference is love. Love doesn't fear other people rise, but love multiplies the rise of other people. Love multiplies greatness. And I have an assignment for you again this week. The assignment will be your power practices for the week. And number 1 is, I need you to write a power definition that fits you. For example, you can write something like, power is the integrity-filled ability to move vision forward with others in mind. Write your definition of power that really fits you. Number 2, identify one area to lean into power. Maybe by speaking in a meeting, by mentoring someone intentionally, by setting a boundary, or by proposing a policy, or by leading a project in your organization. Identify one area to lean into power. And after identifying that area, go do it. Speak at that meeting, mentor that person, set that boundary, propose that policy, lead that project in your organization. And the third thing I want you to do this week is to declare it. Declare power. So stand in front of a mirror and say to yourself, I carry power and I choose to use it with wisdom and courage. Say this to yourself repeatedly, that I carry power, I choose to use it with wisdom and courage. And in addition to that, let me give you this affirmation for the week. Please repeat this after me. Power is not a threat. Power is a tool. I am not ashamed of my strength. I release the fear of being misunderstood. I carry influence and I use my influence to uplift. My power creates space for others to rise. Please say it again with me. Power is not a threat. Power is a tool. I am not ashamed of my strength. I release the fear of being misunderstood. I carry influence and I use it to uplift. My power creates space for others to rise. It is important that you say this to yourself again and again and again. You don't have to whisper your wisdom. You don't have to apologize for access. You don't have to perform meekness to be accepted. You get to lead, you get to speak, you get to rise. Because power is not a dirty word. It is a divine invitation unto greatness. And to fuel your greatness journey, remember to get your copy of my book, The Peak Performing Woman's Companion, and pre-order for my upcoming book, No More Shrinking. Visit www.tppafrica.com/books to get your copies. Also remember to join us at the Peak Performing Woman of the Year 2025, where hundreds of women will be gathered together, powerful women, to share power, personal power, positional power, relational power, to understand how to use power so that you don't continue to shrink. It will be a great time of inspiration, a great time of connection, a great time networking, a great time learning new things and relearning what you already know with other powerful women in the room. Make sure that you register today to be part of it. And don't keep it to yourself alone. Make sure your friends and all the women in your circle also attend this power-packed program. The place to register is www.tppafrica.com/woman, and I look forward to receiving you there. Also, you can engage our team to coach the women in your organization or invite us to facilitate a boardroom session or your executive management retreat. You can reach out to us on team@tppafrica.com or call us on 0702-666-8008. In the next episode of No More Shrinking, we will dive into the topic Breaking the Silence Code, where we will explore how staying silent has helped you to survive, but why it cannot help you to lead. And until then, rise in your power, walk in your fullness, and never again confuse humility with hiding. Always remember, I love you, I believe in you, and I look forward to celebrating your back-to-back greatness. Until the next time, keep rocking your world like a champion.
Thank you for joining us on No More Shrinking with Dr. Abiola Salami, the world-class performance strategist. This is a broadcast designed for women who are done playing small. If you are a career woman, businesswoman, female founder, or a rising female political leader who knows deep down that playing small is no longer an option, ensure you get copies of Dr. Abiola Salami's books to fuel your journey. Visit www.tppafrica.com/books to get yours. Also, ensure you sign up to attend the Peak Performing Woman of the Year 2025, where hundreds of businesswomen will be gathered to network, learn, and celebrate. Visit www.tppafrica.com/woman to register. You can engage Dr. Abiola Salami to serve as keynote speaker at your next leadership conference or management retreat. Simply contact his office on team@tppafrica.com or call 0702-666-8008. You can follow Dr. Abiola Salami at Abiola Champ on all social media platforms.